Welcome, everyone, to episode 44 of Stuck in the Mail. Today, we are looking at an album from Curtis Mayfield called There's No Place Like America Today. Casey, there's no place like America today.
Truly.
Curtis Mayfield, born and raised in Chicago, famously of the group The Impressions. Pretty interesting story there. Jerry Butler, the original lead singer, left the group. Are you pretty familiar with The Impressions? I'm not super familiar.
I couldn't go deep into their lore, but yeah, Jerry Butler, Curtis Mayfield. I think there was a third guy as a singer because they're kind of almost like more like a singing group, like a doo-wop group,
Right.
almost.
And they were very closely associated with the civil rights movement in the 60s. Curtis Mayfield wrote People Get Ready, which is one of those songs that it feels like a hymn. It feels like something that has existed longer than, that it was just out there forever. And then he just happened to put it out into the world. But that was Curtis Mayfield, People Get Ready. There's a train a coming,
So true.
Casey. Beautiful song, beautiful
Yes.
message. And there's a great his work. Curtis Mayfield's work has that same message woven through it. Very famous for, of course, the soundtracks in the 70s. Superfly, of course, his self-titled album, amazing. When he did go solo, I mean, in a big way, he was able to. He took a giant leap artistically. Really started putting out, overtly political songs, even I would say even aggressive songs. The sound of it is still soulful. It's not aggressive sound, but the message is pretty aggressive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Barry Gordy would have put up with it on Motown. Notoriously Marvin Gaye's most famous album, "What's Going On," which was political, was not appreciated at the time, and certainly not appreciated by Barry Gordy, the man that started Motown. So, yeah, Curtis did kind of set out on this political, uplifting message, very early on, and I would actually add to the Impressions catalog the equal weight of "Keep on Pushing," which I'm sure if you were black in the late '60s, post Civil Rights Act, it was really an important message. If not more important than People Get Ready. And he continued that uplifting soul music into his career in a way that, he was a real, he started his own label. I mean, this was someone who had, to some degree, an empire,
Yeah. And
which is amazing.
it is. And, I try to put myself into that time, and it's very difficult to do, especially just putting myself, like you said. I mean, at, at the time there was great hope, right? There was a hope that the rising tide of justice was finally starting to turn and that things would be better. And then, you know, in the 70s, kind of reality sets in. Like, yes, there have been some great strides made through civil rights and through opportunity, but yet the opportunity that was promised was, as always happens, those in power are really hesitant to give up that power. And
Right. And also, law and the rule of law and legislature can only do so much for change. It takes real people to make real change. So you could tell that Curtis Mayfield was a real spokesman for change by his lyrics and his music. So
yes, and I would say even more so when you read the lyrics as opposed to taking them in, just for me anyway. Um,
yeah, no, for sure.
and this album here came out, I believe, in 75. So we're talking a few years into the 70s, a little disillusioned, I mean, look at the cover photo, right? So this is a take on a famous Depression era photograph.
It's Margaret Bork White, and the reason I know that is this is one of my wife's favorite photographers. So there's a nice overlap there, and she was a photography major, so very important female photographer here.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, it was called At the Time of the Louisville Flood, and this was published in 1937. And the ad slogan on that one is "There's no way like the American way." Let me read this passage here because it's helpful. At the time of the Louisville flood is a black and white photograph taken in 37 by Margaret Bork White. She was on assignment for Life magazine covering the aftermath of the Ohio River flood, which left 70% of the city of Louisville underwater. The
Hmm.
photo shows black flood refugees waiting in line for Red Cross relief, with a billboard advertisement for the National Association of Manufacturers in the background that reads, "World's highest standard of living. There's no way like the American way." And then, of course, we have the album cover here with the promise of equality, the promise of justice, the promise of forward progress in racial relations. And I found it was a good quote from NPR here that this album cover illustrated the complete disconnect between the idealized American life and the African American reality of the time.
Right, and to like drive it home even more, they colorized, uh, the advert in the photo, and then left the this soup line or whatever we want to call it in black and white. So
Yep.
I'm sure there's some stark analysis on that too, but it's pretty obvious and apparent from seeing it.
Yep. And so this paints a pretty bleak picture, a pretty cynical picture of nothing ever changes, right? You
Right.
know. However, and this is why I love this album, Casey. My take
Hmm.
here is this is one of the most uplifting, joyful, exuberant, rewarding, life affirming albums you'll ever hear. And again, especially when you read the written lyrics. I don't know about you, but this one really takes a while to sink in. Um, it's a slow mover, right? Like a lot of the songs are really subtle. Um,
It is. I would also say that from a record nerd perspective, this is not really one of those albums that gets a lot of applause or makes a lot of lists. It's usually more his first album or Roots or even Superfly gets all kinds of critical praise. But this one kind of gets left off of lists. So,
yeah, and of course, I only know it because of course, the Rolling Stone 500 list. I'm pretty sure it was
oh,
only on
nice.
the updated version of the list, and that's how I heard it. But really cool. So, a couple things about this. Yes, it paints a picture of what it would be like to be black in the city in the mid 70s, in all of the challenge and struggle, but also in the brotherhood, the humanity, the joy, the love, the excellence. And I love that this piece, it's a political statement, but it's ultimately a statement of solidarity. Um, I really one thing that surprised me about this is I would say there's a lot of reggae influence on this album. The first song, Billy Jack, so a kind of a portrait of violent, a portrait of violence, kind of similar to what you might hear on Superfly, a slice of life, right, in the urban setting.
Just off Monday, running to a friend. Down the street, down the street, where I
Um, it has a really like reggae feel to it. And so does the song Jesus. That one too. It really feels like something about the rhythm section, the simplicity of the boom 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 boom.
Sure.
It feels like a Marley song. And I know that this was like when reggae was really
That's true.
prominent as well.
Yeah, really coming to America. Um, this is my favorite track on this one, so I got to speak on it.
Good.
Um, First and foremost, I feel like this is a little out of place on this album. I mean, it works, but at the same time, is he trying to still kind of not cash in, but it feels like it's a black exploitation track for a movie that wasn't meant,
Yeah, I get
and
that.
it's an odd pick on this album. If you were to really analyze this album, you might take it as a throwaway, but I really like Curtis Mayfield, and I can't help but say that this is my favorite. I like his feel when his songs have that cool feel, and a lot of people don't understand black exploitation, and it's a complicated matter, but certainly on the surface level, when you take the early '70s and you take black Americans, African Americans being considered superheroes and made into superheroes, although somewhat with maybe some negative connotations. There's still a different lens that we're looking through here in America, and it's one that's never really been repeated, and it's an important one, and it is exploitation, but the Shafts and Superflies and Billy Jacks of the world, they have a different connotation to, like, teenage black kids,
Yeah.
and what they can be and what they can grow up to be. And I know some of this have negatives to it too, but it's a really important thing, and it didn't exist before. So it's something that was able to come out from the Civil Rights Act, and it was an important time.
Yeah, a really unique moment in time where that was in the popular culture. I mean, Shaft was everywhere. Everyone knew Shaft.
Oh yeah, and you can get into the female black ones too, like Coffee and Foxy Brown, the Pam Grier stuff, and Cleopatra Jones, and they're amazing. And much later, even I'd say the Warriors, really so cool. And Billy Jack, although out of place, is just another piece in that amazing puzzle. And it's such a cool song. Some, like, the coolest line is, "Up in the city they called him Boss Jack, but down home he was an alley cat. Aw, didn't care nothing about being black. Oh, Billy Jack." So, I mean, that's an uplifting message there, that they have this character that he doesn't even care that he's black, He's
Yeah.
just doing his thing. And that's probably a really powerful thing at the
Yeah,
time.
especially at the time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you though. I think you're right that it is kind of a carryover from his previous albums in terms of the topic and the subject matter. But I think that for me, musically is what I respond to on this one, is that kind of reggae
Mhm.
feel, that really relaxed. I mean, the melody, it feels like it's halftime. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
takes so long to even catch the melody.
it's got a really cool funk groove to it.
Yep. Funk reggae. It's really good. Seasons change. So this is really introspective, kind of a free form almost in terms of rhythm.
Time make you suffer when seasons change. Can't call no names when you got your own self to blame. Strain won't give me no satisfaction.
He's he's just kind of floating. His voice tends to float in general, but especially on this one.
When it goes really high.
Yeah, exactly. Time makes you suffer when seasons change. So it's just, you're kind of you're seeing your life pass before you, and you're waiting for things to turn, right? You're waiting for things to go your way, and it's, you're seeing seeing the sand pass through the hourglass. It's it's a really introspective, really good one. But I got to take some time to talk about my favorite song on the album by far, Casey,
So in love.
"So in Love."
So in love, you do so many things with a smiling face. So in love.
Okay, that's the big hit on here, apparently, or at least by modern Spotify.
Oh my goodness, what a song. You can ask my children. I play this constantly. There's something
Yeah.
about it. It just makes me feel good. It is the vocal performance, but it is those horns. Casey, the horn sound on this song, I have never heard anything like it. It is so beautiful and clear, and it feels like you're in the room with these horn players. And as a horn player myself, wow, I just ba ba da da ba ba da da. Oh, the soundscape here, everything about it fills me up. And of course, a beautiful love song, that when you are stuck in trying circumstances, you find um, inspiration through love. And what a beautiful message.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever heard this before this, but when I found out that it was the single, for me, it's a common type of song for him. Like it reminds me of the makings of You, which has probably more classical elements to it and strings,
The
but
harp, yeah.
the wavelength that it puts you on is the same, and how it makes you feel. And Curtis has a few pockets that he can play really well. And this is the main one.
Yeah. I
And his
love it.
vocal performance, the vocals, it's so sugary. I don't know if there's anyone else. I'm sure people would be like Nat King Cole or something, but I don't. I mean, his tenor ability and it's uncanny and unlike anyone else.
Yeah, I agree. It's unlike anyone else. I just think
Yeah,
this is the most beautiful song. So in love. It's just, you know, you have a hard
it
day
is. It
and
is.
you know that you at the end of that day can be with the person you love. It's an amazing, amazing song.
It's true.
Um,
It's true, and I feel that for sure.
so you kids out there, check it out. Blue Monday
Th-
People, another really good love song. There's some great lyrics here I'd love to mention. So the
Did you
system.
skip over a track on purpose?
Oh, what did I skip?
You skipped Jesus.
Oh, yeah, okay. We can talk about Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It takes a while to get going.
Yeah,
Strength in times, new temptation. Don't wanna lose a love relation. Talk about Jesus. Talk about Jesus. He never had a hustling man doing crime, wasting time.
I want to know what the lyrics. Maybe I never read the lyrics, but why is it drinking that wine?
Yeah, I confess I have not gone into the lyrics of this one, but
Okay,
probably should. I probably should.
you probably should.
I mean, I take this as, you know, spiritual strength, right? When you're in a challenging circumstance, can give you strength. I think that he grew up with someone in his family, it might have been his mom or an aunt or somebody who was like some sort of preacher, and so
Right,
he
probably.
had this, you know, background where he definitely found strength from his faith. And anyway, I like this song. It's probably like my least favorite just because it's kind of the way it starts. It's just very like takes like a full minute for the song to start.
I would have to say that maybe between this cover and by the fact that there's a non secular track like this, maybe it's why it's not a popular album or it's so common to see.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to really analyze.
and you said before something that I think is so true that, soul is like gospel, but like secular gospel, And so if you think of it that way, there's really
Right. Yeah.
not much of a separation here. It's like you're just like people draw these lines, but the fact is it's all interconnected. It's all part of your life. It's all part of your outlook. So especially
Right. I wanted
growing
to
up the way he
actually,
did.
yeah, I wanted to touch upon the genre, topic because I thought we'd start with it. But yeah, I mean, it's commonly referred to as a soul album. And like Mike pretty much said, soul is generally considered, it oftentimes usually more secular, but it has a gospel background. It's a singing category with a gospel background. But just to lighten the mood here a little bit, I would like to quote one of the great godfathers of soul and more funk, but George Clinton, and on the last track of their first Funkadelic album, which is called "What Is Soul." So this is what is soul according to George Clinton.
Okay.
Soul is a ham hock in your cornflakes. Soul is the ring around your bathtub. Soul is a joint rolled in toilet paper. Soul is rusty ankles and ashy kneecaps. And soul is chitlins foo young. That is George Clinton's words there.
Okay.
There we have it.
Poetic, very poetic. It's good. Good. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Oh yes, yeah.
you gotta love soul. Um, so jumping into Blue Monday People,
Don't have to
another really good
listen
love
to me.
song.
One day you may see we Blue Monday people just trying in a strain. Life breaking our hearts. I'm so tired, it's a shame. This hustling affair ain't the
Let me share some
way
lyrics
I
here.
live.
The system needs us, but it's trying to mislead us. They know
Mm.
the money don't feed us. But uh, when seasons are strong, sometimes your life don't get along. But when cupboards are bare, our love we can share. Um, it's just I don't know. There's something about it. Yeah, it's finding joy in the middle of hardship. It's like the plant growing in the middle of the sidewalk against all odds.
Hmm.
I just it's so vivid to me, and it's art flourishing. In kind of this concrete cityscape. I
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is more keep on pushing, and I mean, Curtis's audience at this time is probably predominantly black, and I think he's singing these songs for them, and I think,
Absolutely.
and he's doing it to uplift them, So,
And
I
and that
mean,
is there's no greater example of that than the last song. I don't necessarily want to jump all the way, but I mean, Hard
yeah.
Times, what's the one I'm skipping? There's another one.
Hard Times, which is a fun little groovy one. It gets back into a funk groove.
Yep.
And that's kind of a great relief here because there's been some heavier stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, the last track, Love to the People.
Oh gosh, Love to the People. What a song. I love this so much.
Talking about love to the people, little bit of warning to the cold, little bit of brotherhood, guarantee it can be good for the soul. Well, nothing but beans on the table.
Love to the people in the face of hardship. I mean, so we got to share some more lyrics here. Love to the people, a little bit of warm to the cold, a little bit of brotherhood, guarantee it can be good for the soul. I love the bridge here. In the morning, it's all right. I'm not giving up this little pride. I've got a lifetime to keep living mine. The way you do it is to get right to it. Sometimes I think before our life is gone, we'll see the kingdom come.
Powerful.
It is. And the horns on this, oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I was going to bring up the trumpet. It's definitely, I mean, horns really add a certain something to, I guess we'll refer to this as mainstream music. You don't always find them, but it elevates it to a more, complex platform.
It
So,
does. It's a tapestry, right? It's all these
right.
like it's a sonic. It's such a joy to listen to because there's so many
Yeah.
levels to it. And ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Oh,
I
that
wonder.
reminds me. On Billy Jack, the horns come through like 4 minutes into the song. It just, oh, I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, any closing thoughts before I close this out here on this album?
I mean, I was just having one while we were talking about this last track, and I was thinking about Curtis Mayfield's sound, and I was like, wow, I wonder if Phil Spector ever tried to work with him.
That would be interesting.
Well, I mean, it's just, at the time, I think, Phil was still the guy. I mean, he was mostly working with the Beatles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their solo stuff. And, he'd worked with everyone. He'd worked with Ike and Tina, too. And so it must have been Curtis's power in the industry because he was so independent as a black songwriter, like to have your own label, Curtum Records, and to be so fiercely independent
And
is
successful.
and successful with it, and to have such a longevity too. I mean, the Impressions, they're not a common name, but I mean, they're secondary in that scene only to say the Drifters, unless we're to go farther back into the Coasters and the Miracles and everything. But I mean, you guys don't want to hear me talk about 50s music endlessly. So,
But yeah, like in the
um,
70s, I mean, Marvin Gaye, rightfully so, gets all the attention, and what's
yeah.
going on is amazing. It's the number one album for Rolling Stone now.
Did
And
it overshadow this? Was this the same year as
um
what's going on?
I feel like what's going on must have been earlier, but
Earlier, I think.
we'll have to do a fact check. But, I wonder at the time, like, I'm not going to say it's just interesting because Curtis Mayfield is so associated with the blaxploitation, the film soundtracks, but really, like, he was doing things for quite a while, for many years, that were super interesting. Like that
Hmm.
self-titled album of his, so good. I love the like fuzz synth that he
Hmm.
has, like especially on the Roots album.
Hmm.
He just is such a I think a musical mastermind. Um, and really, tragically, did you hear about this? How he was paralyzed in this accident
Yes,
in
on stage.
1990 on stage. Gosh, I
Yeah.
don't. It's crazy. And then, of course, he then lived in North Atlanta, apparently right down the road from me. So,
And recorded too. He recorded an album while he was paralyzed.
yep.
But when I hear about the stage thing, it just makes me, not go all conspiracy, but it just seems like, well, who was in charge of the lights or whatever that fell on the guy, or like, what is going on here?
It's
Um,
insane. I have never heard of that kind of a thing happening anywhere else.
exactly. It would seem in my mind that someone out there wanted him shut up, but that's not okay. The Curtis Mayfield story is a wild one.
It's wild. Well,
And a lot of these musical stories are, right.
if I may sum up why I love this album, and thank you for giving it a shot here. Glad you liked it.
I
Yeah,
did.
my sum up would be that love, whether it's faith, romantic love, brotherhood, can lift you up despite hard times and the racial headwinds that you face in this country. And unfortunately, the train keeps rolling, right? The mighty waters continue to flow, and has not been a smooth ride, and it'll continue. The struggle will continue, but I love to look back, and I love to look at artists like Curtis, who spoke for a generation that was waking up, and for a country and a world that still needs to wake up. And
Oh,
what a
definitely.
provocative but beautiful record.
Very good. I agree. I'm glad to have this in my Curtis Mayfield repertoire now. There are still many albums I prefer, but I don't mind including another one.
Nice. So what's
Um,
next?
okay, so I've went back and forth on this next pick for us quite a bit, and was kind of waiting to see how this episode went. Episode 54, by the way, not 44, Mike. I
Oh,
didn't correct you, but
thank you for that.
no worries there. So we're going to kind of stay in the same vein to a degree. This next performer was one of the most famous musicians in the world's wife, and she became equally famous. Alice Coltrane,
Oh, good.
Journey to Sechananda,
Oh,
which is
oh,
a
good.
famous spiritual jazz album to uplift us even more in these very trying times, to say the least, unprecedented times.
I like it.
And this one's going to be a bit difficult to discuss, but to listen, it's a lot of fun. And with the exception of John Coltrane's Love Supreme, this is number 2 in spiritual jazz.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to pick Love Supreme because, I mean, come on. Uh, so here we are,
I
Journey to
love it.
Sechananda.
Great pick. We have needed to do more jazz, so this is a great pick.
I'm taking us back.
Yeah, cool. And I've heard just a tiny bit of Alice Coltrane because of these countdowns. Um, but this is good. I need to hear this.
Oh, it's an experience. And if you've never experienced spiritual transition from music, this will help. This will elevate you and enlighten you and make you feel all kinds of new feelings. Hopefully, is what I'm hoping for. And yeah, play it loud, put it on headphones, do what you got to do. It's like nothing else, I guess.
Great. Can't wait.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everyone for coming along on the ride, and we will see you next time.